Hello, friends. This is Martin speaking. Please watch this episode to the end. In this episode, we will discuss three very important topics. Biden's Saudi shift, from threats to warm greetings with the Crown Prince, Erdogan's G20 plea, meeting Russian demands to revive grain deal, NATO standoff, Russia exits grain deal, Turkey steps up. What's next? Topic number one. President Joe Biden and Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman held a meeting during the Group of 20 summit in India. The encounter occurred in the context of discussions among world leaders regarding the development of a transportation corridor connecting India, the Middle East, and Europe. This meeting stands in contrast to their previous encounter in 2022, which drew criticism due to a public display of camaraderie between the two leaders, symbolized by a fist bump. It's worth noting that Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has faced allegations of involvement in the assassination of journalist Jamal Khashoggi, an act that President Biden strongly condemned. However, recent global events, such as the surge in energy prices prompted by Russia's invasion of Ukraine, have prompted a shift in diplomatic strategy. The primary aim of this meeting was to encourage Saudi Arabia to increase its oil production. The murder of Jamal Khashoggi within the Saudi consulate in Istanbul strained relations between the United States and Saudi Arabia. This incident coincided with the release of a previously classified report, which disclosed potential links between certain Saudi officials and the perpetrators of the 9/11 attacks. Despite these tensions and controversies, the Biden administration has been actively pursuing efforts to bring Saudi Arabia into alignment with the international coalition opposing Russia's actions and has also explored opportunities for normalization of relations between Saudi Arabia and Israel. The recent meeting between President Biden and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman raises various perspectives and questions. What are your thoughts on this diplomatic encounter and its implications? Please feel free to share your opinions and insights in the comments section below. The meeting between President Biden and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman at the Group of 20 summit in India signifies a notable diplomatic event. It highlights the evolving dynamics of international relations, particularly in the context of energy security and regional stability. One of the most conspicuous aspects of this encounter is the apparent change in the tone of the interaction between the two leaders. The 2022 meeting, marked by a friendly fist bump, sparked criticism and controversy, given the serious allegations surrounding Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's involvement in the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. President Biden had previously been unequivocal in condemning this act and had promised accountability. However, the recent meeting appears to have brought a degree of cordiality back to their relationship, signaling a shift in diplomatic strategy. The change in diplomatic approach can be attributed, at least in part, to the broader geopolitical context. The energy landscape has experienced significant disruptions due to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, leading to a surge in oil and gas prices. This situation has prompted the United States and its allies to seek ways to stabilize global energy markets. Saudi Arabia, as one of the world's largest oil producers, plays a crucial role in this endeavor. Hence, the primary objective of the meeting was to persuade Saudi Arabia to increase its oil production to alleviate the energy crisis. The murder of Jamal Khashoggi within the Saudi consulate in Istanbul had severely strained U.S.-Saudi relations. Additionally, the release of a classified report implicating certain Saudi officials in connections with the 9/11 hijackers added complexity to the relationship. These factors had raised questions about the future of U.S.-Saudi ties. However, the Biden administration has taken a pragmatic approach, recognizing that Saudi Arabia remains a significant regional player with whom cooperation is essential, particularly in efforts to counterbalance Russia's influence and promote stability in the Middle East. In the broader regional context, the United States has also been working towards fostering a closer relationship between Saudi Arabia and Israel. Normalization of ties between these two nations would represent a significant diplomatic achievement. It has been suggested that such normalization could contribute to regional stability and potentially reshape the geopolitical landscape of the Middle East. The Biden administration has been actively engaged in facilitating dialogues and confidence-building measures between Saudi Arabia and Israel. though progress in this area has been gradual and complex. As with any diplomatic engagement of this magnitude, there are divergent opinions on the recent meeting between President Biden and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Some view it as a pragmatic move, acknowledging the realpolitik of international relations, where states often engage with counterparts despite ethical concerns. Others may see it as a compromise of principles, especially in light of previous condemnations of human rights violations and the Khashoggi case. The meeting also raises questions about the effectiveness of diplomatic engagement in addressing complex global challenges. Can diplomatic negotiations and discussions, such as the one between President Biden and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, lead to meaningful change and solutions to pressing issues, or do they risk legitimizing actions that should be strongly condemned? Furthermore, the evolving dynamics in the Middle East, including the potential normalization of relations between Saudi Arabia and Israel, prompt discussions about the potential benefits and risks of such a development. How might it impact regional stability, security, and the balance of power in the Middle East? In conclusion, the recent meeting between President Biden and Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman reflects the intricate nature of international diplomacy. It underscores the interplay between geopolitical interests, ethical considerations, and the pursuit of regional stability. The meeting's outcomes and the subsequent developments in U.S.-Saudi relations and the broader Middle East will continue to be subjects of scrutiny and debate. What are your thoughts on this diplomatic encounter, its implications, and the broader issues it raises? Please share your opinions and insights in the comments section. Topic number 2. Erdogan's G20 plea, meeting Russian demands to revive grain deal. During the G20 summit in New Delhi, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan is advocating for a revival of the Black Sea Grain Initiative, which facilitated Ukrainian grain shipments and helped stabilize global food prices. Erdogan's efforts to persuade other G20 leaders to support Russia's demands face skepticism from Ukraine's allies in the US and Europe. However, it highlights the challenges Erdogan faces in maintaining a delicate balance following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Despite his recent talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin, Erdogan was unsuccessful in convincing Russia to rejoin the agreement. Turkey is proposing to world leaders that insurance coverage for Russian food and fertilizer exports be facilitated by Lloyd's of London, and that Russia be reconnected to the SWIFT system for international payments. These discussions were disclosed by Turkish officials who preferred to remain anonymous due to the sensitivity of the matter. G20 members are anticipated to call for unhindered deliveries of grain, foodstuffs, and fertilizers/inputs from Russia and Ukraine. The deal is seen as crucial for meeting the demand in developing countries, particularly in Africa, while also condemning any military attacks on relevant infrastructure. The U.S. and its allies reject Russia's claims that the sanctions are restricting Moscow's agricultural exports and have thus far resisted calls to ease the restrictions. Several European diplomats noted that Russia rejected a compromise proposed by the UN, which suggested establishing a subsidiary of the sanctioned state farm bank Rosokarsbank and allowing it to access SWIFT. Turkey frequently raises the status of the grain talks during meetings and is actively seeking consensus to revive the deal, as stated by an Indian official. The uncertainty surrounding the future of grain supplies from one of the world's largest exporters has led to weeks of volatility in global wheat prices, exacerbated by the increased hostilities in and around the Black Sea region. Turkish officials maintain that easing some sanctions is key to reviving the deal, as Russia claims the existing sanctions limit its ability to import agricultural equipment. European Council President Charles Michel criticized Russia's purported generosity in offering 1 million tons of grain to African countries, given that the Black Sea Agreement has already supplied over 30 million tons of exports to vulnerable nations. Moreover, Ukraine has been engaged in discussions with Romania and Bulgaria regarding an alternative maritime route passing through Romanian territorial waters. However, this proposed route would only partially address the existing demand. Overall, this topic raises various considerations and prompts us to reflect on the potential consequences of supporting or opposing the revival of the Black Sea Grain Initiative. What are your thoughts on the matter? Please share your opinions in the comments below. Topic number 3. NATO standoff. Russia exits grain deal. Turkey steps up. What's next? NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg expressed NATO's concern over Russia's decision to withdraw from the Black Sea grain deal. However, he welcomed Turkey's efforts to re-establish the agreement. Stoltenberg emphasized the need to end the war in Ukraine, which has been ongoing for over 18 months, to ensure the safe shipment of grain. On July 17, Russia suspended its participation in the grain deal brokered by Turkey and the UN, citing alleged violations by the West. Turkey has been working towards reviving the deal, and President Recep Tayyip Erdogan expressed optimism about achieving a positive outcome after meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The international community, including the U.S., has acknowledged and praised Turkey's efforts in this regard. Support for Ukraine and potential consequences. Stoltenberg underscored the importance of supporting Ukraine, which has been enduring the effects of the ongoing conflict with Russia. He highlighted that a victory for Putin in Ukraine would be detrimental to the Ukrainians and pose a significant threat to NATO. Stoltenberg cautioned that such an outcome would send a message that authoritarian leaders can achieve their goals through military force. To prevent this, he emphasized the necessity of investing in defense and extending support to Ukraine. Stoltenberg expressed his gratitude for the support provided by EU members and NATO allies. Concerns over Romanian territory. Stoltenberg addressed the situation in Romania, following the defense minister's statement that remnants of a drone apparently used in Russian attacks on Ukraine's port on the Danube River were found on Romanian territory. While he acknowledged the discovery, Stoltenberg stated that there is currently no information implicating intentional attacks by Russia. NATO is awaiting the results of an ongoing investigation to ascertain the details. As a NATO member, an attack on Romania would trigger the alliance's collective defense principle, potentially leading to a wider conflict. Conclusion and audience perspective. In conclusion, NATO has condemned Russia's withdrawal from the Black Sea grain deal and expressed support for Turkey's efforts to revive it. The organization stresses the importance of ending the conflict in Ukraine to ensure the safe shipment of grain. Additionally, NATO emphasizes the need to support Ukraine and prevent a potential victory for Putin, which could have significant implications for NATO and regional stability. The situation in Romania, where remnants of a potential drone used in Russian attacks on Ukraine were discovered, is also being monitored. Considering these developments, we'd invite the audience to share their opinions and perspectives on this topic. How do you assess Russia's withdrawal from the grain deal and Turkey's efforts to reinstate it? What are your thoughts on supporting Ukraine and the potential consequences of a Russian victory? Please share your views and opinions in the comments section below.